Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome aboard with your captain, Erwin Wenzel. Welcome to Inspirational Journeys. This week's podcast, I'd like to talk about an inspirational story from a book I've read many years ago. I still read it from time to time by the renowned psychologist Dr. Dennis Waitley. But before I do, I'd like to give everyone an update on the progress of my manuscript. Once again, it is in the process of presentations to publishers. And as a part of the presentations, it'll be great to have you like and subscribe to this channel. I hope to have the book published as soon as possible. But back to the subject of this podcast. Dr. Dennis Waitley, a renowned psychologist, talks about people who pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. Success stories. And we all hear about success stories, famous people, great, great achievements. But then there are the people who are not famous, but their success stories are just as profound, just as exciting. In Dr. Waitley's book, Being the Best, he talks about a 50-year-old grandmother named Barbara Shine. Barbara Shine had a desire in her heart to do police work, but they didn't take many women, she said. Of course, this was many years ago, back in the 70s, and it was a man's world back then, and police officers were basically only men. So she became a housewife, mother, and ran the household, but she still had the burning desire to be a police officer. So she settled for directing traffic and keeping order at the high school basketball games. But that fire never burned out. So she went to apply to the New Jersey State Police Department and found out she was over the age limit of 35. Then, when the age limit was deemed discriminatory, she applied and passed a written test. She was accepted into the training program. The training program was grueling, and she succeeded. She graduated. She came from a time where, based on your gender, your ethnicity, or whatever, it is decided for you by society, this is what you should do. But she didn't fall into that persona, into that category. She took her dream, she took her desire, and she made it a reality. And I'd like to ask you, what's your dream? What's your desire? What would you like to do? As Dr. Waitley says later on in his book, if it wasn't for time, money, or circumstances, what would you be doing with your life? And it reminds me what I did with my life. I was a liquor salesman. I hated it with a passion. I fell into the trap. When I was 10 years old, my father saw my cousin, 13 years my senior, who was a executive in one of the big liquor firms. And he decided for me that that's what I was going to do. After graduating college, I fell into that trap until at the age of 29, I said, I have had enough of this. And I took the reins in my hands. I took the bull by the horns. And I made the decision. And I succeeded. I wound up retiring as a captain for a major airline. Wow. And I'd like to ask you, what would you like to do? What would you want to be? What would you want to do if you had no limitations? Now look into your heart. What do you want to do? And ask yourself this question. Is it what you want to do, or is it what other people think you should do? Maybe you've been in the environment where people are badgering you, and this is what you should do, and you should do this, or you should do that. And you want to do something to impress them. You might look at something and people admire a specific profession or a specific activity, and you would want to do that, but is it really what you want to do, or is it to impress other people? And I would like to propose this to you right now. The only person you need to impress is the person looking at you when you look in the mirror. Let that sink in. The story about Barbara Shine, no one really knows about it. So she became a police officer. Great. So what? And this was a time when women were, you know, they really weren't part of the major workforce. Back then, years ago, it was a man's world. And I take my hat off to her. She did it. She's a great inspiration. So what would you like to do? I'd like to say again, once again, if you like my messages, click the like button and subscribe. I will be coming to you with a new podcast every week to keep you updated on the progress of the publishing of my book, Nice Jewish Boys Don't Fly Airplanes. And please click the link, nicejewishboysdon'tflyairplanes.com. Check out my website. And what do you think of my message? What do you think of these messages? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I'd love to see what your thoughts are. Until then, stay positive, and remember, you are the one in charge of your own destiny.